guys! This is Flirty, Dirty, and Bookish. Welcome to the dark side.
Listen if you dare.
Hey guys, welcome back to Scotland for our last and final installment of the Edge of Darkness trilogy. Today we're talking about all of our feelings and everything on Restitution. As always, there are going to be spoilers, so if you have not read it yet and you don't want to be spoiled, come back and listen or watch this episode later. This book is heavy on the emotion.
Yeah.
I don't know what's worse, this or voracious.
This is worse.
This was worse.
There's so many, usually, when you read a trilogy, especially in the dark romance world, it's like, okay, the first one is not, overly dark until probably, the last, 10%. Because they're trying to just ease you into it.
Yeah,
you got
the storyline, get all the information, Yeah.
The second one is usually the darkest. And then the third one is usually, really dark for, the first, 50%. And then it gradually gets lighter.
Yeah.
I could not say the same for this trilogy. Restitution is just dark until practically the epilogues. Restitution is just dark and disturbed and fucked up. Is it like other ones where, yes, technically they're together earlier on in the third book? Yes, but yes, also it's usually a common thing where, when the third book starts, they're already together and they're just together.
And they're just, figuring out the big bad,
Yeah,
and
technically, you can't say Kate and Stacey aren't together because they both, want to be together and they both love each other, but, they're not physically together, and sometimes they're physically together, but they're not mentally together because Kate is having an episode and he doesn't know where he is or who he is, so, you can't really say that they're together for most of this book because, they're either not themselves or they've been separated by other causes, so, it's just...
Also, Cade took the high road in a lot of this book and was like, I'm not mentally well enough to be, a good boyfriend.
Yeah. And I feel like
which
he just isn't,
good
even
for
if
him,
he never
but, I'm like,
that,
who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
But, even if he never said that, there were moments where if he even had agreed to be your boyfriend, he wouldn't remember that he is her boyfriend. He just, there's just so many moments, and it's just all over the place. There's so many feelings that need to be discussed.
Yeah.
And I feel like we should group it by characters and what they took us through. Because I feel like any other direction we go in is going to be... It's almost going to be more like a description. So I feel like if we discuss, okay, this is... Cade, he had stuff going on. This was going on with him.
Okay.
And... this is how we felt about it. I think it will keep
honestly, because there is so much character development, even with side characters throughout this entire book.
So if we separate this one by characters, I feel like it will keep us from just describing what happened. So,
okay.
And by us, I mean more.
Yeah.
Anyway, so because this book is so heavy on the feelings, really heavy on the feelings, don't be surprised if I tear up in this episode, but we're gonna separate this by character, kind of what they went through and how it made us feel, what we were dealing with while reading this book, because it really does put you in your feels. There is no other way to describe it other than you were just living it with them, and it's a great ride in the overall sense. I love this trilogy so much. I love this book so much. I really do. But it hurts. It's painful. There's not it's not happy for most of it. I wouldn't say I was... Yeah, you go.
Sorry. No, you can finish.
You're good. I was gonna just say that I was not happy
for
most of it. I'm there was moments.
No. Yeah, this was the first book that when a certain thing happened, like my heart actually like hurt. Like it felt real and I had to like put it down. And I was like,
Yeah.
what? Like, no, like yeah, I really felt shit in this book. Like
yeah, and that's so not like you. You are very good
no.
at going, this is not real. This
Right.
is a book.
That's
This is a
usually me.
story.
Yeah. And
And
like
like
I
I'm
still know
somewhere,
that.
yeah,
But
I'm somewhere in the middle of you guys where it's like, okay, there's some things that get me, and then I'm like, this person's real, but then sometimes it's not, and then Kylie is, everything is real
The
at all
real.
times.
yeah.
We're all real. Everything's real. I'm seeing people. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm
But
a
yeah,
This
it
cuckoo one.
hurt.
this is
It hurt.
But
probably one of very few trilogies where I felt like I was honestly kind of a part of the friend group because like there's so many moving characters. Normally it's like one or two or three or four, but this has Bernadette, Archie, Chris, Kyle, Stacy, Cade, Luciella, Tobias, Barry, Arya, Ewan, Jason,
Des,
Des,
Tyler,
Tyler, like
Bass, and
yeah,
Cassie.
yeah. There's
Yeah,
like
if we're
so
naming
many
people we
moving
hate.
characters. Yeah.
There's so much going on. It's just there. Yeah, there's so much. So like,
You want to start with the
yeah,
easy
we're gonna
one?
separate.
Yeah.
I
Let's
who's
start with
who's the
Cassie.
easy one?
Cassie.
Okay,
Stupid dumb bitch, hate her.
Cassie.
So glad she's dead.
Yeah. Point
When
blank
she
period.
died, I felt so much better. Okay, when you first meet Cassie, because I don't, she was mentioned like once or twice in the first book.
Yeah.
You meet her like once or twice in the second
And you
book.
think
This
she's
book, I
just like
just,
naive and kind of annoying.
yeah.
Totally.
So the first
Yeah.
time you meet her, you're kind of like, okay, like maybe you're not evil, like maybe you're completely controlled by your parents, like because it was she didn't want Cade working the sex trafficking, blah blah blah. At that point, she wasn't trying to like drag him under, so you're
Mm-hmm.
kind of like not sure how to feel about her.
Exactly.
Like you're kind of like wishy-washy on her. The second time,
Like
you're
she's
kind of
just
like,
delusional and naive, and it's
yeah.
just like she just wants to
You're
marry
like,
him
oh,
and whatever.
like she really likes him or whatever, like she's just
Yeah.
naive, like stupid.
hmm
No, 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 no. She's a bitch. She's horrible. I hate her. She is her mother. If her mother was dead, she would be her mother reincarnated. Thankfully,
But
her
like,
mother is also dead
okay,
now,
but
but
why did I also sort of kind of feel bad when they
I
found
yeah.
her in the tunnels to find out that her parents also sold her?
I think because I felt bad too. Once again, this book has it's just the way Leigh Rivers writes. Like she's really good at like entrapping all your emotions. But
Mhm.
um I felt bad and I think honestly every time I hated her and she's being a bitch in the back of my mind I felt bad because
Mhm.
I don't think she ever really got a chance to be anything else.
Yeah.
No.
She
Yeah.
had to be this
She was born
person.
into fucked up.
Yeah, but also she had to be the person she was to survive with her
Yeah.
parents. So I think you feel really bad when you see that her parents sold her because it's like she's become this awful, horrible human being to survive her parents, only in the end for them to betray her anyway.
Yeah.
hmm
So it's kind of like
Sad.
it's just sad. It's like she never really got a chance at life. Like she never
Like they
actually had
didn't
a shot.
they never gave a shit about her.
Yeah,
'Cause
like
like
it
you
doesn't
can be
ex
a shitty person
yeah.
and like sort of been like, "Hey, like you're going to marry our daughter, make all these decisions," but then also like not be a shitty parent and like
We've
not sell
seen
your kid.
evil,
For
yeah, we've
sure.
seen evil characters that are still good parents. They're just shitty
Yes.
freaking humans.
Yes.
Yeah.
And usually their children are shitty freaking humans. But
Yeah.
with this case, it just, like it doesn't excuse anything she did, which is why you still hate her and you're still relieved when she's killed. But
Yeah.
at the same time, it's like you do feel bad and you feel like a little sad because she
Like a little
never
I
got.
feel like sympathy.
Yeah, because
hmm
she never got an actual chance. Like she never got honestly, like she had everything in life. Like when it came to
Mhm.
money and, status and
Power
like
and yeah.
all of those and power and like all of that stuff. But I think when it came to trying to get Cade, it's probably the first time in her life she realized that she can't buy everything. Like you
Yeah.
can't buy love, you can't buy friend. Well, you can buy friendship, it's just not good friendship.
Not
And
yeah.
you can't, yeah, and you can't buy your
Respect.
parents' love or respect. And therefore, and like when it came down to it, when she had nothing anymore because her parents had sold her, she doesn't have her parents' love. She doesn't have anyone else's love. She doesn't have any real friends because she
Kate doesn't give a shit about her.
buys them all. Yeah,
Hmm.
and like if she had have you don't know. She could have made different choices, but you also don't know that doesn't mean she wouldn't have been sold when she was like 6 years old. Like you don't
Yeah.
really know where she would have landed, but at the same time, it doesn't excuse what she's done.
And like
I
for a
mean,
man like Tobias Mitchell, of all
hmm
people, to know who this girl is,
yeah,
to see that her parents have sold her, to see that the predicament she's in, but like to know that she is a part of this, to still be like, no, she doesn't deserve this. I'm taking her with me.
yeah.
I'm sorry. It took Tobias Mitchell, of all people, to see that that's wrong.
hmm Well, that's when you should know you're making a huge mistake in your
Yeah.
Yeah.
life. Like when someone who like mentally isn't all there, and the only people he really cares about is his family, and he's like seeing this girl being there, and he actually feels wrong about it. You're like, yeah, like this isn't, and it's someone that's done horrible things to his son. Like
Hmm.
I think Tobias has enough wherewithal to realize that nobody deserves that. Like
Yeah.
nobody truly, besides Bernadette and Archie, they deserve it. Someone sell them. I want all the things to happen to them because they deserve it. But besides those two, no one deserves that. I don't care how horrible you've been. Like it's not something that you would wish upon your worst enemy. And
And
I think Tobias
obviously,
realizes that, and it
yeah.
also shows how much he's grown, which is something we'll talk about when we get to our Tobias segment. But
Yes.
it does show the growth he's had since Psychotic Obsession,
Yeah.
which is why we highly recommend that you read Psychotic Obsession first,
Yes.
so you can
Yeah.
see his growth.
He also was using her as a little bit of leverage, but still at the end of
Yeah,
the day, like
but at the end of the day, he
he
could have
could have just
like
let her
shot her
fucking
right there. He could
yeah.
have shot her right there. He could have let her be there. He could have, whatever. Yeah, they used her as leverage, but they would have found another way.
But I feel
Like he
like if
didn't
they
have to kill
found
her.
out that she was actually stuck in this because of her parents, and they
Hmm
found out that like she didn't want to be like this and was actually a good person, he would have let her go.
Oh, for sure. If it hadn't have been for her proving that her parents have finally got to her by her
Yeah.
like doing what she was doing to Cade. If she had to you know, pretended that she was sleeping with Cade or making Cade sleep with her and like she could have been his friend. Like she could
Hmm.
have done things to seem evil on the outside and not
Yeah.
be on the
Like
inside.
behind closed doors, just gone to Cade, being
Yeah.
like, Cade, like, let's just get through this together. Like, we'll figure something out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I
And
don't
then,
That would
want
have
to
like,
been
be here
cool.
either.
get
And
right? That would have been
that's
really cool.
something
Yeah.
yeah. But like I feel like these books do show like a lot of reality, and I
Hmm.
think that like someone in a
Oh
position
yeah.
like that is almost always going to have that outcome.
Well, she also
Not
doesn't know
always, there's
anything
also the
else.
people who can like come out of it. Like but at the
Hmm.
same time when you think about it, she was technically abused by her parents, right?
Hmm.
But at the same like they didn't hit her, and not that we ever saw, but I doubt that they would because of Bernadette's job. Like she was seeing bruises on her. I don't think it would have gone so well.
Honestly,
But
she just
like
doesn't know any better and she's
I think
fucking
she was just
dumb.
mentally manipulated and she
Yeah.
didn't think through it. But like Stacy also went through so much and she didn't become like an awful human being because of it. But like you can go through a lot, but I think she was just mentally manipulated. I don't think it
Yeah.
was so much like what she's been through, more just that she didn't have the brain strength to,
Hmm.
you know, not just become a sheep because that's
Yeah.
what she was. She was a sheep when it came to her parents, when it
Yeah.
came to everyone else. If Kate had have fake loved her or whatever and taken her, she would have been a sheep in that sense, and she would have done whatever he wanted. So I think she just wanted what benefited her. Whatever was good for her in that moment was what she was going to do. The character growth was just that she died, and we quite enjoyed that.
Thank God.
As much as
Kate's
we've
like,
talked
fucking
about
shut up and
struggles.
shot her in the head.
Yeah.
That was
Night
lovely.
night.
Yeah.
Okay, who should we do next?
I think we should just go with like smaller characters and like work our way up. So Des and Tyler may as well just be merged together. The comedic relief that these two gave us, the talks that they had with their respective best friends, that helped move the love story along. These two were much needed. Like they were needed in this story. They were very important to the story as little time on page that they got.
I love Des just being like, I
Des
don't want to
cracks
be
me up.
involved, guys. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna be like starting to train to fight. Like, no.
Which is not something you see very often in these books. Like, you don't often see that all of the men are doing this, and one of them's hiding in the bedroom, like,
But like that's so relatable.
Shield.
Look at our friend group. That would be it.
Oh yeah, that would
Yeah.
be the guys in our group. They would be hiding.
100%.
They'd be hiding and using us as shields. Like, don't let
Not
us
all
go
of them.
anymore.
Not
Like-
all of them.
No,
but like one
but,
or two
like,
of them would
quite
be
a
like,
few.
"This isn't my fight. I'm not fighting it. I can't do this. I don't want to die."
They'd make us
100%.
lock them in a room and like we'd have to like
Yeah.
guard the door like Tyler did. Like that's reality. Not every single guy you're friends with is going to happen to be this person that wants to go and fight these battles. No, Des did not want no such thing.
And he didn't
tried.
have to.
He did try for his friends because he felt like he needed to be there for them, which is understandable, and he wanted to help. But he went through one training session and vomited everywhere. And after that, he was hiding in his room. He's like, I can't do this.
No.
I can't. So I love him. He's fucking hilarious. I also love that Des and Tyler they were like Kate and Stacy
Normal.
if Chris had never been involved. Like, if the whole Chris thing hadn't happened, and because they both were dating back then, secretly hiding it from Luciella, but, like...
Minus the ASPD and Chris.
Well, you know what I mean? Like, those things, you know what I mean? Like, they're the more normalized version of Tyler. Tyler and Des are a more normalized version of Kate and Stacy.
They are the everyday Kate and Stacy.
But what I meant is that you kind of see where they're at in their lives. And, they've already dealt with the Luciella thing. They're now traveling together. And they were doing all this stuff before, obviously, everybody came back and war happened. But, like, you can see that's where Kate and Stacey may have been in their lives if Chris wasn't involved. That's what I meant. Because that's the only reason they broke up. Was because of Chris.
Yeah.
And everything he was doing. But yeah, so it was kind of like nice to see the parallel there and like all that stuff. But also at the same time, I just loved how they always knew something was going on with those two.
Yeah,
like they just always
fucking
knew.
dumb. But I think also too that is because something was happening with them, so they saw.
They were much
They're
much
like
easier for
they're
them
like
to
they're
see
just
the
mirroring
reversal.
what we're doing.
Yeah.
She's purposely not sitting in that seat next to him.
Yeah.
Even though it wouldn't be weird if she did.
Yeah.
But she's purposely like,
Yeah. But yeah, I love them. They're great comedic relief. They're also great for, talking a character off a ledge when it comes to their best friends.
They're really good for, grounding the characters and just being like...
They're needed. They
this
need that
isn't normal.
light.
This is not normal.
Yeah.
But, like...
Got your back.
We'll go through it together.
Yeah. And, Tyler was that for Luciella, and Stacy and Des was that for Base and Kate, and they both needed that. Like, they both needed that person, and we needed that person when we're going through all this, and just, like, you need, like, sometimes they would come on the page, and you're like, oh, thank God, it's gonna be fine for a moment, because Des would never be involved in anything. That was fucked up.
Yeah.
Every time you saw his name, you're like, oh, I'm getting a break for a sec. Nice. Moving on from that,
Arya and Ewan?
honestly, I was gonna say Luciella because we're kind of hitting like
Okay.
bigger characters at this point. Because when we
Okay.
talk about Arya and Ewan, we're gonna talk about their growth from psychotic obsession. And the reason I think we should talk about Luciella is because I want to say something just after talking about Tyler and Des. Um, the one thing that really irks me about Luciella is her rule about my friends cannot date Cade's friends, and I refuse to date Cade's friends. Because if she had just opened her eyeballs earlier on, like, when they were teen or whatever, she would have realized that there was no problems because, it was a perfect, everybody was gonna date everybody and everybody would be fine. But she was like, I think she was, I don't know if she was scared or what it
She
was in
was
the beginning.
projecting because she wanted to be with Base.
She wanted to be with Base, but she refused to be with Base because of her own stupid rule. I don't know
Well,
why
and
she
she
had these
she
rules.
made that rule because she's like, no, dating my brother's friend would be weird. And then my friends dating my brother or my brother's friends is weird. No, I don't want that. No,
Yeah,
shut it down. But it started because she wants to be with
she
Base.
wants with Base. She wants to be with Base, but she refuses to date Kate's best friend, and it's this whole thing. And we've seen so many ups and downs with them through this book, and I cannot say that we end on an up with them in this book because they will be getting books. They're supposed to get
I
two.
feel so bad for her.
So,
Imagine being fucking pregnant with twins and the dad has to now go be in an arranged marriage
No.
because he saved your life.
It's
no, I couldn't
insane.
imagine that. That would be horrible. I mean, thank God she has the family she does. But yeah, no. And the worst part of it all is, like I said, they're getting two books. So as you go throughout this book, you're like trying to figure out. You're like, well, how long can Base really be gone? Like clearly he's not, because you're assuming at first because their books aren't out yet that there's a possibility that their thing is resolved in this. Well, no, because they're getting books. They're getting two books, and that means A, that it won't be resolved in the first book we read. And B, um, unfortunately, we've also read the epilogues. And with these
They like
epilogues,
their
there
kids are
is
like
some
10.
math. By the time we get confirmed that
Seriously?
they're together and fine. Well, we
Yeah.
know the kids are 5 in the first epilogue, and they're still not together.
Yeah.
They're also still not together in the second epilogue or the third epilogue. We don't get confirmation that they're together until the dance recital that they all go to, and the girls are
I'm
10.
assuming they have to be like
Yeah.
10 because like they're Kate and Stacy's daughter is
His
like
daughter is like 5 and
5.
they're or 4 or something, and there's a
Yeah.
gap there.
Yeah.
And so you do know that they're like it's been a while, but you're not sure because the epilogues do take like a few years gap. So it could have been anywhere in there. It's not necessarily, the 10 option, but it could
It
very
might
well
be
be
even
that that was the
older.
first good
Well,
moment. We
when
don't
when did
know.
Kate and Stacey have their son?
They had their son 5 years. She was already pregnant.
She was pregnant
So
when he
they
was in
had their
jail?
son. She got pregnant. She was already pregnant when he got out. She got pregnant while he was in jail.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so it
Um,
was right after
so
that. So then,
like
yeah,
6 years. The girls were like 6 when.
yeah.
So yeah,
Damn.
it's kind
So
of like
yeah,
this whole
probably in and
thing.
around 10.
Yeah, in and around 10 years old, or the girls might have still been 5 because I'm not sure where the pregnancies kind of line up to coincide with each other because Lucilla hadn't had the twins yet when Cade went to jail, so
Yeah.
it's kind of a
But
you don't know for sure,
in and
but in and
around 10
around
years old.
10 years old when you get to the last epilogue, so it's very much a long time for these two, and
Yeah,
that makes me so sad. So
I
sad.
know.
And I feel
But
that's also why I put Luciella earlier on in this because really she hasn't had she's had certain growths, like she's obviously more open to base now. Unfortunately, now that she finally is, it's not an
well,
option.
I think she realized like this was like the rudest awakening she could have ever had.
Oh yeah. But then she's also was rudely awakened to her friends being together and her brother being with her best friend. And I think she finally like came to terms with all that, and she's like fine with it now. So she had growth in that sense. But other than that, we haven't seen a lot of growth from her. And that's because we're going to be getting a book for her later. So it wouldn't make a lot of sense to put all her growth now because she was perfect by the time we got to her book. There wouldn't be a book. Her
Yeah.
and Base would just
Yeah.
already be together. So, um, Base, I can't say the same for him. There's been not so much the Base is growth wise. Base is the emotions that he put us through. We may as well just talk about him next. We just talked about the love of his life. But
Base
Base.
Oh,
Okay,
Base made me
so
want to cry, and then the
oh
next
yeah,
sentence was making me laugh.
me laugh.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Like
That's base.
he was like I just
There was just so many. Okay, so Base. Let's just go on like a memory lane little walk here. So Base in the first book was very much the comedic relief the whole
never took
time. There
anything
was no.
seriously.
The only thing you could kind of realize was that he had a thing for Luciella, but even that wasn't like fully known in the first book. You
And
could
he
just
was
tell that it
making jokes
existed.
about it all the time, like,
I
haha,
mean,
bro, I'm gonna
yeah,
fuck your sister. Like,
but he was also making jokes about fucking Stacy, so you weren't quite 100%
Yeah.
on how that,
he was
you
just
know,
trying to get
what it
underneath
meant.
Cade's skin.
Yes. And then by the time you get to the end of the book, you realize, okay, he really does like Luciella, though. And then you get to the second book, and he's done making jokes about fucking other people. He wants Luciella. He's decided he wants Luciella. The problem is he has to convince Luciella that she also wants him, but that would mean that Base has to stay in the country. But, so Base is very much the person that would like do anything for his friends. He would go to war for them. And I kind of, the feelings I had when it came to Base was like, he's like involved in the Russian mafia somehow. You weren't quite sure the whole time, but like then you find out and you're like, okay, well, why isn't Cade getting help from him? Like you couldn't quite figure out why Cade wasn't going to him. And then when Cade does go to him, Voracious, Base doesn't like get a hold of his family immediately. It's kind of sat upon, and because it was sat upon, and the only reason it was sat upon is because Base was drunk and coked out of his mind because he was at that Halloween party and all he wanted was Luciella. He gets kidnapped, and then that's why this. I mean, he had so much growth because of it, but at the same time, like I Cade, we didn't see, besides the one flashback, we didn't see Cade being thrust into this. We didn't see him in the early days. He's already adjusted to this. Base is different because we'd been reading two books worth of a free base, a happy base, a base. Its biggest problem was that one day he'd have to take off with the Russian mafia, but that very quickly changes, and I feel like it hits harder. The bases in that situation because with Cade, it's all you really know. You've only
Yeah.
seen him happy and free in flashbacks. Like you don't know a Cade in this day and age that's not dealing with this.
I think
But
it's also
Base,
harder too because you're seeing them both together. Because like Cade could
hmm
just deal. It's only happening to him.
now he
And
can't
now
deal.
he's like watching it happen to his best friend. And his
Yeah,
best friend's like, man, this is fucked up. You've been going through this for however many years. And like, this is happening to me. And you're seeing this shit
yeah,
happen to Base. And then Cade gets so mad that it's happening to him. But then Base is mad that
yeah.
it's happening to Cade. And it's just
Well,
like,
yeah, they're both eating
it's
themselves
worse.
alive over it because Cade is eating himself alive because he feels like it's his fault. Base is there. He got him into this mess when really Bernadette was targeting Base before Cade went to him. And even then, like going to your friend for help, you should never be blamed if they're, dragged into this scenario. But Base is eating himself alive because he's supposed to be Cade's best friend and he didn't notice something was wrong. He didn't pick up on it. And it's not he feels it's not true, but he feels like he had more of a responsibility than anyone else in their lives to pick up on it. because of his family's background and because of what they did, because he was the one, probably one of the only ones that could have, saved
Helped.
Cade. And I feel
Mhm.
like it just eats him alive. And then Cade's being eaten alive by how he feels, because he feels like he's, ruined Base's life, but at the same time, he's also dealing with like freshly learning about everything with Stacy. There's a moment where he thinks Barry and his wife and daughter had been killed in the last book, and he's still reeling from that. And he's just, he's not doing well. And Base being put in there, it makes it worse. And then Base's mental health takes a decline, and it's just your mental health takes a decline.
Yeah.
And then you'll
Yeah.
be reading something, and it's like the saddest thing ever, and I just want to like
And they're
sob my eyes
locked in
out.
cages and they're starved and they're getting beaten and
Being
brutalized and
raped, forced to rape each other, and then
Yeah.
Base makes a joke.
Base has a infected wound that like is going to cause him to die,
It's
and
gonna
then he
kill him.
goes, and then Base just goes, I wonder if Tobias Mitchell will think it's weird I've made both his offspring come. Like you're
And it's just like,
literally starving to
please don't
death,
make me
dying in
laugh.
cages.
He's still
Like,
fucking funny.
please don't
Like,
make me laugh. Like, I shouldn't be laughing right now. You're dying. But like, it's just like that thing. And
And
then
then
he
right after
like,
that, and
oh,
they go, you die, I die.
oh,
that that hurt,
I
because
was
at
right
that
there with
moment
him
I felt
though.
like there was
Like,
such a big
Uh,
possibility that they something was gonna happen to one of them. But like,
but
if
think
I
about that.
I
Like, put yourself there. Like,
no,
no,
I would be right there
if
with you. Like, if my best friend dies, I'm out. Like,
yeah,
I can't do
yeah,
this alone.
yeah,
if we
no.
were in that situation together, no, that would be the pact. Like, I couldn't
Yeah.
do it. Like,
Like,
I
fuck
wouldn't be
that.
able to do
I
it.
was
No.
so worried when I first read this series so long ago. And we didn't know Base was getting a book.
Yeah, I didn't either when I first read it. She literally announced it a week after I read it. She like posted this thing about how
Yeah,
eventually they'll be getting a book.
but
And I
I
was like,
read
the entire time I was
this.
reading it, I'm like, is Space getting a book? Is Space getting a book?
Yeah, I read like early 2024. I read the series.
Yeah, I read this at the
Damn.
very beginning of
2025.
2025. Yeah, like the
Yeah.
very beginning.
So yeah, like honestly, like February, March of 2024. No clue. And I'm reading this book and I'm like, Base is going to fucking die. I know it in my heart. Base is going to die and I'm going to lose my ever loving shit. Because
Yeah.
I had just read Black Hollows and I'm like,
Anything could happen.
for
And just so you
real.
guys know, she did the same thing to me, because she's the one who got me to read both of those, and she made sure they were back to back. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And then the
So
irony is that I had to read Fracture back to back with this. Jesus fucking Christ. We'll get there on another episode.
but yeah, I was so scared that he was going to
yeah,
die, but so glad that he's
I did too. I was so freaking scared Base was gonna die, because that wasn't announced yet. You wouldn't tell me anything. I was like constantly texting her. I'm like, Morgan is Base gonna die? And like, we weren't close, guys. We had just met. Like, we'd
Yeah.
been friends for maybe like 2 weeks at this point, and I'm texting her constantly. Is Base going to die? Is Base gonna be okay? Base is so funny. I don't want Base to die. I'm crying. Base is dying. Please tell me he doesn't die. Like, I couldn't stop texting her. I'm surprised we're as close as we are now, and she didn't think I was a crazy person. Like, I couldn't stop. Like, I needed to know what happened to Base.
But
I had
that
to know
was
now.
also like
Yeah,
my like
your
thought
experience
process
with it.
through it. So I was like, yeah, you're just continue to read. Just keep going. You'll be fine.
Yeah,
Like, stop
but like,
texting
it
me,
just,
put your phone down and pick up the goddamn book.
I was just like dying. Like,
Yeah.
I couldn't, like, it pained me to continue reading and not know if Base was going to survive. Like, I
I
had,
know.
because I felt like if Base died, no matter what happened in Kate and Stacy's future, neither of them were ever going to be fully themselves again. Because Cade would have lost a huge part of himself. Stacy would have lost a huge part of her best friend and the man she loves. And Luciella, God, who knows what would happen to Luciella? Like, I couldn't, like, function with the idea of
Yeah.
something happening to Base. Like, it just did.
Mhm.
I was, like, against it. If something happens to him, I was going to scream. But I was like on that same train where if something happened to any of the main characters, I was going to lose my ever-loving shit. So I did lose my ever-loving shit, but it wasn't they.
Yeah, let's move on to that one, shall we?
Jason,
Poor
my
Jason.
love. I
This is
will
what broke
say,
me.
so okay, so the first time I read these books, oh my God, I'm literally gonna cry, like guys, I can feel myself tearing up. The first time I read these books, me and Morgan both read these prior to Psychotic Obsession being out. So when we read them, we didn't have the option of reading Psychotic Obsession first.
Hmm. However, I did.
Obviously, yes, this
Yeah,
time we
you
read
were
it
lucky.
first.
I'm
You were lucky.
so happy
Yeah.
for you that you were able to
Yeah.
do that
The
Yeah.
whole
because
journey in chronological, it makes a difference.
Yes. I
As
it
we
makes
learned.
such a
recommend.
difference.
Yeah.
Such a
Yeah.
difference.
So obviously the first time we met Jason wasn't in Psychotic Possession for me and Morgan. We met him much later. We met him after the whole debacle. You know, at first we were confused, like what was going on really there, and we weren't really sure what was happening. Um, but this time around was so much more painful after reading Psychotic Obsession.
Well, I also think going back when we first read it, we read Psychotic
Oh,
Obsession
also, yeah,
after.
it
That
made
was hard
Psychotic
as fuck.
Obsession hurt. Like, it
That
hurt to read Psychotic Obsession. You're like
I
reading this
bet.
10-year-old kid, and you're like, you
you
don't have much
die.
longer. Like, you're going to die.
Oh.
You're not going to die
Yeah.
peacefully. It's going to be horrible. You're going to die not being close with your brother anymore, never getting to really make amends.
Never getting to meet your child or being with the person you love. Like,
Spending 2.5 years, 3 years, whatever it was, by yourself, literally like drowning, losing everything in your life because of something that happened to you that, like, you didn't tell anybody about. So, like, going back and knowing that was so much harder, I will say, than reading Psychotic Obsession, knowing Jason as a child, and then seeing Jason's death
but then
versus
doing it this way, I feel so much
reading.
closer to Jason. I
Oh, I
have,
feel
like,
closer, and it hurt for
I
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt worse when he died this time than
Yeah.
when he died the first time I read it and didn't read Psychotic Obsession first.
No, I agree. I just mean, okay,
Hmm.
so his death was harder reading Psychotic Obsession first because you've like seen him
Yes.
grow. But Psychotic Obsession, Jason, is so painful when you read Restitution and then immediately read Psychotic Obsession because it's like
Yeah. Yeah.
this poor little
Know what's to
baby,
come.
this
Yeah.
poor little baby, and you're just like thinking of everything that he's gonna go through in his future, and it's like, it's bad enough when you have to think about everything Cade's gonna go through in his future. I
Yeah.
don't want to have to think about what Jason's going through. It's just like, it's so painful. So I'm glad that we didn't read it that way this time because I
Yeah.
barely made it through Psychotic, like the first time I read it, because every time Jason popped up, I was like, so sad. It
Yeah.
had its pros and its cons. Like, it was nice knowing where Tobias ended up. It was shitty knowing where Jason ended up. Like, it was just kind of
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, they're
so
flip-flop it either way.
Both ways
yeah.
hurt.
Yeah.
Both ways hurt. You just gotta
Just
pick who you'd
differently.
rather. Yeah,
Yeah.
and since Tobias survives in both books, I'd much rather have to wait for him to like get somewhere than
Yeah.
having to
Yeah,
think
for
about
sure.
Jason. But Jason was making, I think the worst part about Jason's death is that he was finally at a place where he was fixing everything that had been broken and taken from him after what Chris
Hmm.
did to him and Stacy. And I think that's
Hmm.
the most painful thing about it. Other than the fact that one of the only things he hadn't truly fixed yet, because he'd already like reconnected with his fiance from that, like everything had been explained away. Obviously, 'cause she got pregnant, all that stuff. Everything was fine there. His parents are yeah, his parents are obviously aware now. Arya is literally basically his mother. She's been around since he was a child, and his mother is not part of his life. So, but his
Arya is
parents,
his mom,
yeah,
for sure.
Arya is for sure his mom. He just calls her
Hmm.
Arya because I think they
Well,
were
he was
too
like
young to
10.
take it on because they don't know if.
Yeah. And she wasn't always there. Like, it's kind of, but yeah, it's his mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, they dated like 90% of his life. There was
Yeah.
like a year and a bit where she was with Tobias and that whole thing, but they were together most of his life because they got together before Jason was even born. Like, because Jason and Ewan's mom weren't together anymore. That or Jason wasn't even a year old when they were together. That much I know for sure.
Yeah.
But either way, she's been there his whole life, and his mom was there for the first few years, which is probably why he calls her Arya.
Yeah.
But anyway, they were finally aware of everything he went through. They were there for him to help him because before they weren't really sure what was going on. They were kind of just like they're like, this doesn't sound like something Jason would do, but no
Yeah.
one's giving us any other options.
Yeah.
So, you know,
He started fighting
um,
for himself again.
he started fighting for
Mm-hmm.
himself again, and I think, the only relationship he didn't get to repair is probably the biggest one. And it's sad for both him and Cade.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're thinking about it from Jason's perspective, and you feel like he dies not knowing how much his brother like loves him, and then his brother forgives him because we know that Cade feels like shit, and we know that Cade forgives him because we've seen Cade see the video. We spin in his head, but Cade hasn't gotten a chance to say any of this to Jason yet,
Yeah.
and Jason is, walking around with the last memory, like true memories of his brother, hating him and like wanting him dead and like wanting to kill him. And, as much as I mean, I'm sure when he like passed on, he finally like realized, that Cade forgives him. But like, it sucks that they didn't get to have that conversation for
Well,
both
Yeah.
Jason
but
and Cade because now Cade has
there
to live with it.
there is a
Mm-hmm.
part of it where like when Jason was like when he found him in the forest and like when he was having episodes where they didn't have a direct conversation,
No,
but
yeah.
I think like subconsciously that if Cade didn't know any of this information, he was having an episode and
Mm,
he didn't know that the whole Chris thing happened and thought they still slept together.
yeah.
Even
It
mid
would have been a
episode, he
different
probably would
story.
have been like, fuck you, get away from me.
Yeah.
But during his
Yeah.
episodes, he's like Jason and is like accepting of his help and whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that was good for Jason. Like, gave him, like, that little bit of closure. But when someone
Mm-hmm.
dies the way he fucking did, which was saving Stacy, saving the love of his brother's life, it really sucks knowing that he never got to have that final conversation with his brother. He never
Yeah.
got to, like, truly, and not even just the conversation. I don't want, like, the fact that he didn't get time with his brother again. Like, they never got a chance to spend time together, to repair the relationship, to, see each other, like, the way they are now. Like, there was no time for Jason, never really got to know his brother as an adult. Like, there was never, any of that for him, and that fucking sucks. And then I think it also hurts more when you're thinking about his death, and then you're like, when you're reading it, and he's dying, and everyone's outside, and like, they could find him or whatever, and you're thinking about Cade having the episode
Mm-hmm.
in that bedroom, and you're like, you just know that no one can tell Cade right now. Cade is having an episode, and he doesn't even know his brother's dead, and so you're like, I don't. It's just so painful. Like, that was probably one of
I was
the,
terrified for
yeah.
him to find out.
I think that's probably in my top 5 worst deaths. Like, it was bad. Like, that was a painful one. That
Yeah.
was
Well,
not an
think of
easy one to
all the
go
shit
through.
that happens at that same time.
Yeah.
Bernadette comes in with all of her men. Kate is
Yeah.
upstairs, literally detoxing from drugs and having like a
Mm-hmm.
mental break. They're
Yeah.
all there. They come, they try to get Cade. Tobias gives himself up, so Tobias is bye,
Mm-hmm.
and she turns around and goes to fucking shoot Stacy, and Jason jumps in front of her and dies.
Yeah.
And then a fucking war basically breaks out. They get Archie,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
but Tobias and Bernadette are gone.
Yeah.
And Cade
Yeah.
still doesn't know. And Stacy
He
has to
doesn't
go
know his dad's
upstairs.
gone. He doesn't know. He doesn't know any of it. And Stacey, yeah, I think
And
that was the
Luciella's not there.
whole god.
Luciella's coming home, so she doesn't know that he's dead.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
just his death was so painful. Like, Especially when you know, like, what he was like as a kid, you're, like, thinking, and you're like, how is this fair? He was so excited to have his brother and his sister. He was so, like, excited for all the things that he would get to teach them, and he already loved them so much. And then everything just went wrong. Like, nothing could go right. And it's just
So unfair.
horrible. It's not fair. It's wrong, and I'm gonna cry. I need a moment. I'm actually like tearing up. I was having a hard time getting through that one. But Jason's death is not. Can I have a Nick break?
So moving on
Okay.
from Jason.
Yeah, I can't talk about it anymore. I'm gonna cry. I had to take a minute. Okay, so Jay, rest in peace. You'll be missed in future books when you don't get to meet your son or nieces and
I hope we
nephews.
get to see his kid grow up.
Honestly, like that was
Well,
sort of a letdown.
the last we saw it, she wasn't involved in their
Well,
lives.
at the
No,
very,
she
very,
wasn't.
very end, yes. At the very, very,
Yes, she
very
was.
end.
Yeah.
But
But
that was sort of a letdown how she didn't let them in right away, but I get it.
you do. When you put yourself in her shoes, you understand completely. It's like
Scary.
But
yeah.
I'm like, I feel so bad for everybody because they're like, I don't want.
Like
That's
Jason's
also
gone,
a
and now we
part
don't
of
get to be a
him they
part of
have
it.
left that they can't, like, yeah.
See.
I
Yeah.
really hope at least, she let Ewan see his fucking grandkid.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like,
Which we
let
won't know
Arya,
until we get future
exactly.
books, but
Let Arya
yeah.
and Ewan see their grandkid.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
fuck, like, Cade, Stacy, they're essentially the reason why he's dead. Like,
Yeah.
let's just, like, it is what it is. Call a spade a
Yeah.
spade. They're the
You
reason.
can't change it. Yeah.
But let Ewan and Arya see their grandkid. Because,
Yeah.
like,
It's all they have left of him. But anyway, moving on to Ewan.
yeah.
So Ewan, okay, I'm going to talk about how I felt the first time I read this and how I felt the second time I read this, because the second time, once again, now I've read Psychotic Obsession. The first time I hadn't read it. The first time I was kind of like anti-Ewan. Like,
I know,
I
I was
just
annoyed
wanted
that
her
he
with
was around.
Tobias. I was annoyed. I hated him. I wanted him gone. I felt a little bad for him when Jason died, but more I just felt bad for everybody else. Jason, Ewan was kind of on my back burner. I didn't care about him. I didn't want him around. He annoyed me. I just wanted her with Tobias. Now reading it, after reading Psychotic Obsession,
I don't want Arya with Tobias.
Jason's death in Ewan's perspective hurt so much more. It made
100%.
Jason's death so much worse than it was the first time. Because now I, you know, love Ewan. I've seen what he
I'm
did in the
on
past.
Cade's team when he said, Ewan deserves better than my mother.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, like, Ewan obviously has had a lot of growth from the beginning. He went from, we know about his past, he cheated on Arya, it was never, like, actually in a book, but we do know it happened, to she is everything to him, but he lost her because she found out because he'd been lying to her for years, to, you know, like being hurt about her and Tobias, to wanting to protect her from Tobias, like wanting Tobias completely out of her life, wanting to protect her. You already kind of saw his growth back then because it didn't take him long to realize that that wasn't an option. And that, especially when they found out she was pregnant, like he was all for, like, like as long as Tobias gets the help he needs, like him being in his children's lives. I definitely can say after reading Psychotic Obsession, I can't believe, but I can at the same time because you kind of know how much Ewan loves Arya, but like also because of that it makes it hard to believe. It's like, how did you end up agreeing to her having conjugal visits with Tobias? Like, how is this? Like, I don't know if you like. I guess if
Because
you thought,
he knows that Arya does love him.
yeah, she loves
But
both of them though. It's different,
exactly,
and she
so he
loves them
just has to
differently.
accept it for what it is, and it's
Yeah.
him letting her go and fuck him once a month is better than him losing her all the
Yeah,
time.
because he was losing her.
essentially.
She was
Yeah.
changing. She was like
Yeah.
depressed. Like it just wasn't
Yeah.
going well. So you do
Hmm.
understand it. And obviously we've read a lot of why chooses. Like it's not like a rare for us. It's just more that it's not necessarily a why choose. If Tobias could, he'd have Ewan gone. If Ewan could, he'd have Tobias gone. Like it's not like a they want this. If Arya could,
No.
she'd just have one. But she like her heart won't let her. Because she
I
loves them
think
both.
too when so the whole scene when they're smoking weed out back
Hmm.
with Ewan, Cade, Base, and Des, you see that camaraderie that Ewan has with Cade,
Hmm.
and that like this is his dad.
It's the
Like
same feeling. Yeah, it's like this warm feeling you get when you like
like
have that scene.
well like
Yeah.
I'm picturing like us going outside and smoking weed with my dad. Like you know what
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
mean? Like it didn't feel like and like their banter back and forth and like Base brings up like fucking Stacy in the ass and Ewan's like, dude, I don't need to know this shit. Like what the fuck? Like
Yeah.
you know? Like so but
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
total like the camaraderie between them and then when Ewan calls Luciella his daughter.
Yeah.
And he goes, he either said, don't, yeah, he said, don't speak about my daughter that way to Chris, because Chris
Hmm.
had some choice words to say about Luciella.
Hmm.
And this is also growth for Tobias, too, because Tobias didn't look at him and go, no, that's my fucking daughter. Tobias is like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's right, fucking stand up for him.
Hmm.
Because he did raise these children from birth. He was with her when she gave birth. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it,
Yeah.
these are his kids, whether they're
As
biologically
much
his
as
or not.
Jason, yeah, as much as Jason is Arya's kid, Cade and Lucilla are also Ewan's. The only
Yes.
Hmm.
difference is that where Jason's like bio mom wasn't in their life, his life, they do have their dad around, but it was
Yes.
different. Like it wasn't like their dad was down the street and their parents were just divorced and they spent time with him. Like
No.
Ewan was different from any
Yeah.
other stepfather because he was really the only dad they had for
A lot.
90% of their days. Like
Yes.
90% of their time, it was
Yeah.
Ewan.
Yeah.
And
And
yeah,
his growth, I think, came from like, I don't necessarily think he grew too much in this,
mhm,
only when, like, I mean, we never really saw Ewan in the world that Tobias and Arya are in post psychotic obsession because Tobias is
yeah,
away.
mhm,
But he just sort of like lets like understands and he's just very like I don't know how to explain it, but he's just like he just wants honestly he just wants the best for everybody and whatever that may
yeah,
look like, he doesn't care.
Hmm.
yeah,
He's very like accepting and understanding in like a weird way, but like it
Yeah,
just kind of works.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
He's
Yeah.
and
everybody's I
yeah,
think he's everybody's like rock.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He is it's very different from Tobias, which we'll get to, but
Hmm.
Ewan is like the softer one. Like, you're like
He's
not
the one that
so
you can go to and get sound advice from, one that like has been through shit and can talk to you. Like he is like I don't even
He feels like a dad. Like,
yeah, like
yeah,
he feels like he is the father of this universe, whereas like it's
yeah.
yeah.
daddy Tobias,
Like
okay?
of
But then
course
like
Tobias, but yeah,
father
but he's
Ewan, like
the
he
yeah.
yeah, like
Tobias is a different Tobias is a different
He's a
being.
different breed. Like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah,
But yeah,
they're completely
Ewan's
different. Like I love them both the same. I didn't the
yeah.
first time I read it. I just have
no.
a new respect for you and after reading Psychotic Obsession and seeing everything because you're kind of not really sure where he comes from or how he's involved in this if you don't read Psychotic Obsession first.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it definitely changes that. Arya Oh, where's her? Arya. We've always known Arya was a great mom because we saw her with Jason in Psychotic Obsession. Um, she's great with Cade
Is
and
this mean for me
Luciella.
to say that she's a little naive?
I was gonna, yeah,
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 she definitely is.
she is, yeah. She's
Or
kind
she
of,
just ignores a lot of red flags.
she
Like, I
does.
don't
I feel like
know.
she does, but at the same time, I also like. I'm going. Did Arya grow or did Arya regress? Because we're kinda like, yeah, she's not being like drugged or anything anymore, and she's very much aware of what's going on, but she is like back in that, like, like she hasn't really changed that
Yeah,
much.
she's kind of just the same
She hasn't changed.
Arya from
Yeah, she's not
Psychotic.
really,
Like,
and I love Arya. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I love
yeah,
Arya.
yeah,
And
same.
I didn't think there was that much wrong with Arya anyway, besides her inability to see red flags. Um,
Yeah,
and that's kind of still her problem.
She
She's
sort
still
of
not
lives in
really
like
able to see
Butterfly
them.
and Rainbow Land.
yeah.
Which, with everything that goes on in her life, is shocking.
But
Truly
thank
shocking
God
she's
because
able to live there.
well,
If she didn't,
I don't
I
think
don't know.
mentally she'd be able to deal.
No,
No.
yeah.
Mm. And I think, like, honestly, thank God she does. Because it's just like we talked about Des and Tyler, you need it. You need that when everything else
Hmm.
in your life is so dark. You do need that. But at the same time, like, she is able, like, she was there for Stacey a lot. Like, they didn't go through the same thing, but she was able to,
But they
like,
can
resonate
relate.
with, like, being torn apart by something that neither of them can control. And, you
Hmm.
know, certain things that she went through, Tobias may have put her through things she went through, but, like, they can still, relate on certain things. And she was very much there for her. And Arya, just like Ewan is kind of just everyone's dad, Arya is everyone's mom.
Hmm.
Like, she is Stacy's mom. Like, Stacy lost her mom, and her dad was not really her dad, and not so much Ewan. Like, Ewan is obviously, like, always, like, great to Stacy and everything, but if I was to say Stacy's surrogate parents, I would say that Arya and Tobias are Stacy's surrogate parents.
Yeah.
Um, because both of them are the mom and dad that she needed, and she had a great mom, but her mom died like when she was young. Um, but Tobias is very much the dad that she never had.
Hmm.
Arya is the stand-in for a mom she did have, but Tobias is the dad she didn't have at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I think it's also sad thinking about Stacy's situation because she wouldn't have gone through what she went through if Arya and Tobias were her dad, were her parents. Like if either, like, because Arya may not have been able to see red flags when it came to Chris or anything, but
But
she
she would
would
have
have been
believed
able,
her.
she would have believed her the moment she told her, and Tobias just would have known something was wrong,
Yeah.
and he would have done something about it. So,
Yeah.
like it's definitely like her life could have been a lot different, but she has them now through Cade, and I think like this is a great in-law situation.
Yeah.
There's
The
some shitty
best.
in-law situations out there. This is a great in-law
Mm-hmm.
situation. There's some
Hmm.
pretty shitty ones in the real
Hmm.
Yeah.
world and in book world.
Yeah.
But thankfully, after everything they've been through, they don't have to deal with that. I
Thank
mean,
God.
Cade doesn't have the best in-laws considering one of them is Chris, but they killed him, so it's fine. I
Yeah.
did realize that we haven't talked about Chris. All I
Ugh.
can
Okay,
say
so
He's not even
is
worth
Chris,
a
sick.
fucking breath.
He's
this is
sick.
all I'm going to say about Chris. I am glad he's dead,
So
but
glad.
thank God for him.
I know there was
He
moments where you're
did,
thinking, God,
yeah.
because Stacy would have been kidnapped a hell of a lot earlier if Chris wasn't a crazy psycho that was also stalking her. Like,
And you
Yeah.
needed
there's
him
just
to get the information.
you needed him to hack in, you needed him to
He
do all
came
these
in
things. Like,
handy,
you needed
but
him
yeah,
to get her into that building. Like, there's just moments where you're so annoyed because he's being helpful, and you're like,
I know.
why are
I
you
fucking
being
hate you, but
important?
thank you.
Like, thank
Yeah.
you, but I hate you. Like, I still want you
Yeah.
dead. Like, you're
Yeah.
very much on the
Like you're
same plane
still
as
going to
Stacy.
die,
Like,
but
I
thank
still
you for
want you
now.
dead, but thanks.
Yeah.
I
It's like
guess.
it's
Like, you're kind of like, it's conflicting at moments because you're like, I hate
Hmm.
you. Like, I was never
but like
conflicted
you're
on how
being
much I
so
hated
helpful
him.
right now. Thank
I
you.
Yeah.
know.
But in
Yeah, like,
certain situations, yeah, you were
yeah,
definitely,
you're just like, fine, we have to let him be. Like, I can't, like, fully hate him right now and want him gone
yeah.
because he's not,
Yeah.
like, he's helping. Like, I can't,
Yeah.
like, send
Hmm.
him away. So you could just, like, you ruined so many people's lives, but at the same time, if it wasn't for you,
She'd be
it
Yeah.
would have
dead,
been a
so
lot
thank
worse.
you.
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
just you're conflicted when it comes to him. I'm just, you know what? He's dead and everyone's happy now. So we don't
Yeah.
need him to have his
We
conflicting
he
bursts of help and his moments
yeah.
of
Oh,
horribleness.
Yeah.
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 He was
He was used for his purpose and
useful.
now he's gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't need him
Yeah.
anymore.
No. His
Throw him to the
purpose is
wolves.
done. You were
Yeah.
used for that. See you
And
later.
Kyle is just sort of Kyle. There's nothing special about him.
Kyle was a good brother to her.
He was a
He
good
Yeah.
didn't know what
brother,
was going
Yeah.
on and then,
but yeah,
and then he also, like
I felt
he
bad for
hates
him.
Chris. He
I
hates
felt
Chris for
bad
what
for
he's done, but
him.
it's still his brother.
I felt
Like,
bad
Yeah,
for him.
yeah, because he
yeah,
lost his brother in so many ways. Like,
yeah,
He lost
yeah,
how he viewed his brother and who he thought his brother was, and then he actually died, and then he goes, I get it. I understand, but like that
yeah,
was still my brother.
yeah,
hmm
And I'm really glad that nobody got mad at him for that thought process.
yeah.
yeah,
They were
because it
all
is a
very
fucked up
understanding.
thing.
Because you could
Yeah,
And
easily been like, ew, fuck that, fuck him. Like,
hmm
a horrible,
well,
disgusting
yeah,
human. But then
yeah,
it's
but
like,
you do have to realize this has been his brother for how long? Like Kyle's a fully
and
grown
exactly.
adult.
and prior to this, I'm sure they had a great relationship.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
like
Like,
it's not like,
It's
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 like a
not like
so
mind
he
fuck.
always
it's
knew.
so
Yeah.
conflicting when you know someone's a piece of fucking shit and you know that they're a horrible person. Well, okay, no, that's I'm framing that wrong. It's a mindfuck when you have a great relationship with someone and like you like everything's fine and dandy and you love them and like
Hmm.
And then you
and
find
And
out
then
then
they're a
shit
and
piece
then
of
hits
you
shit and a
find
fan.
out
horrible
that they're a
person.
piece of shit and then it's just like I
It's hard
can't
to like
blame you.
grieve.
Yeah, it's like I
Yeah.
can't blame you for like being it's the way that Kyle handled it was great and the way that everyone else handled it was great because they could easily have been like, why the fuck do you care?
Yeah.
Hmm.
But then also you have to understand he's just finding this shit out.
Hmm.
Hmm.
All
He
of this
hasn't
shit's
known
going
for
on,
long. Yeah.
and then all
Yeah.
of a sudden he's dead. It's like he hasn't even had time to process that his brother's not who he thought he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he
So,
also where we're saying where everybody else could have had a different reaction to Kyle's reaction, Kyle could have also had a completely different reaction. His love for his brother could have taken over the other parts and he could have just been angry at what they did to him.
yeah.
So
Hmm.
like they both they met like halfway. Like Kyle was understanding, he knew why they did what they did, but it was still his brother.
Yeah.
And they were understanding that, you know, Chris may have been a piece of shit, but he was Kyle's brother.
Yeah.
And
Kyle never took
Kyle's never
part.
done anything wrong.
Yeah. Kyle never took
No.
part in hurting him or any of that stuff, but he never stopped them. 'Cause he's
Yeah,
like, I know you need this, but like I can't do it, which fair.
that's
Hmm.
fair. Yeah, because he had a different relationship with him than Stacy did, obviously. Like,
Hmm.
Yeah.
like he actually had a relationship with his brother.
Yeah.
And they also had years together before Stacy was in his life. And he saw
Yeah.
Chris, at his innocent phase, like as a child. Like, so there's just
Hmm.
like,
Very
and
different.
also, yeah, and Kyle's the oldest, and there's that like little bit in you when you're the older sibling to like protect your siblings and keep them
Hmm.
from harm's way. And so, yeah, it's just like you get where he's coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just felt bad for him, all in
yeah,
all.
poor Kyle.
I know.
I guess by talking about Chris, we ended up talking about Kyle because we also forgot about him. But
That's okay.
poor Kyle. um, but Kyle is a great brother to Stacy. Like when
Yeah.
it comes to being a brother, he was, probably the only
Yeah.
person she had,
Yeah.
outside of the Mitchell family. So, um,
And
no,
Des and Tyler, but yeah.
yeah. Um, anyway,
Anyone
Moving
that's
on.
just hers.
Yeah, anyone that's just hers. It's just Kyle. That's it.
Okay, shall we talk about Tobias?
Um, Tobias
Yes.
Mitchell.
Yes, we should.
I think he had
I love
almost the
him.
most growth in this.
Oh, he did. He had more growth than anyone
Yes.
else.
Round of applause for Tobias.
Especially if you're thinking back to Psychotic Obsession. His growth is amazing. Um, Tobias. Oh, Tobias. Tobias is just. There's so many times that like he would do things, and I'm like thinking you're a crazy psycho. Like, what are you doing? Like, really,
But
Tobias? And
but honestly, the fact that he got out and he was saving these people and didn't call Arya and immediately run to her, that's
that's
massive.
gross.
That's
That's
massive.
huge. It's also massive that he let someone else to save Luciella because he knew that Stacey didn't have anyone else to save her. That's massive for him too.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like Tobias,
Yeah, like he
letting them save
definitely.
Luciella, like
Yeah, like obviously he would have saved Luciella over Stacey if that's what it came to. But I think his growth shows that he probably would have tried to save them both. You
yeah.
know, if he had to. But he knew that someone else could save Luciella. And nobody else was coming for Stacey. And that's growth. It's super growth that he didn't immediately go running to Arya the moment he got out. It's growth that he stayed in there for so long, and the thing that pushed him wasn't Arya to escape.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't Arya that made him escape. So, like, and we saw his growth earlier on when he told her to marry Ewan and, like, everything, but, like, you fully see it now. Like, he's out, and he's not spending all this time with Arya. He doesn't need Arya in the room 24/7. He can let Ewan be in the room with her because has the ability to focus on other things now. Like, he still wants Arya. He wants to be with Arya. He loves Arya. But he's able to separate them.
Yeah.
To
He
be like, well,
accepted the fact that
yeah, I'm needed here more right now.
yeah,
I can't just be focused on Arya,
yeah,
and also getting to see Tobias as a dad is like
the
it's
best.
so sweet, it's so
Mm-hmm.
nice. Like, oh, I love him. But also like the way he took Stacey in his wing, and we've talked about this in every episode, but
Yeah.
like you really see it this time. Like this is like, the longest stint of time they've been like in a space together
When
and
they were in the kitchen and she was sneaking out and he's like,
mhm.
I'll stand guard, but if this goes any further, I'm pulling you out of there. Like, I
Mhm.
understand you need to do this, but like you're not doing it alone.
Yeah. And like he's like always there for her. And we know that he's always there for his kids, but we definitely saw it more with Cade than we did with Luciella because we probably won't see much of their relationship like fully in depth until we get to Luciella's books.
Well, he also
But
probably feels like Cade needs him more than Luciella does.
yeah, but he's always known
Unfortunately,
since he was kids that Cade is the one like him, so he needed more of a watchful eye. But what I mean by that is we kind of like because of Stacey and his relationship with Stacey, we do kind of see what he's like as a girl dad. And it's so cute and sweet and like I think that he would kill his son if he hurt Stacey. Like he like,
Yeah,
he
probably.
would. He'd probably be like, Cade,
He'd hurt him
that's
for
it.
sure.
If Cade did to Stacey what Tobias did to Arya, which shows growth, Tobias would like lose his shit. Like he would kill us. Like he would be like,
yeah,
Cade, like I'm either like sending you to an island where you'll never see anybody again, or I'm gonna kill you. Like,
yeah,
like he wouldn't stand for it, which also shows massive growth in
yeah,
him. And it shows growth that he can care for more than one person now. Like he doesn't just care about Arya. He
yeah.
cares about all of them. And like Tobias willing to sacrifice himself for other people. What?
I
This is
know.
the same man who refused to go to a mental ward to get help for himself?
Yeah,
I'm shocked. Like, it's like, whoa.
Mhm.
So, Tobias had, like, the biggest growth, but also he just, like, warms my heart. Like, And also, him and Base, their relationship.
no, him and
Their
Barry.
relationship.
Okay,
Him, Barry, and
base.
Base. The three of them, okay? Like, there it is. It
Base,
all.
Base and Tobias is like big brother, little brother.
Mhm.
Barry and Tobias is old, bickering couple
Married
sitting
couple. Oh yeah.
on their porch in their rocking chairs
Mm-hmm.
saying, "You did this wrong. You did this wrong. My coffee's not
Mm-hmm.
strong enough. My food was cold. You moved over on my side of the bed last night. You took the blanket."
Yeah, no, that's
And then
very
Bass just
intense.
turns down his fucking hearing aid, and Tobias is like, yapping his way up. Yeah, that's them.
And then Bass comes running in and
And then Bass is like,
look at me, look at me, look at
yeah,
me. Look what
wanna
I'm
come play?
doing.
Wanna go do this? Wanna go do this?
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
And then
Yeah,
he's just like,
no, oh
fuck
my
off.
God. The three of them together, I'm so glad that we'll get to see them again when we
Yeah.
are on to Little Liar. But those three together crack me up. Like, I cannot wait to be in Bass's head for that kind of stuff. Like,
And and Barry and Bass, like, they're fine. Like, I think
Mhm.
Barry gets a kick out of Bass getting underneath Tobias's skin.
Oh yeah, because he loves
And
anything
Bass
that gets under
loves the
Tobias' skin.
fact that Barry does not give a fuck about Tobias.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're just like all, and then there's just Tobias and he has to deal with both of them. He's like, Bass is this annoying little gnat and he can't like, he's like, wants to like strangle
He's like, if
Barry,
you
and
weren't
it's so funny.
my son's best friend, I'd fucking shoot you in the face.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just, oh my God, I love it. It was like the comedic relief you needed every time they were on screen, but I think I know we're
On
not
screen,
like
off page.
discussing things that happen, but the thing that happened that probably made me laugh the hardest, which is so fucked up, but it was one of the funniest moments, is when Tobias is cooking Archie to feed to Bernadette, and Bass walks
Mhm.
in and he goes, "Ooh, what are you cooking?" Like, what's
Ooh,
your
having
breakfast? And he
steak for
finds out.
dinner? And Tobias is like, yeah, want to taste it?
And then
And Barry's
and
like, oh,
takes
is that her thigh?
Disgusting,
and
but
then
iconic.
and then Bass is like disgusted and like runs away, and Tobias is like, "Wow, like what a pussy! Like you know, like you can't be with my daughter. You can't be around cooked flesh." Like, oh, shouldn't that be like a property you do want in the man with your daughter, that he can't be around cooked flesh? Like,
Dude, when they made her eat her husband,
Oh, that was one of the
I
best
was
parts.
kicking
oh my God.
my feet, giggling, happy.
Yeah. As fucked up as that is to say, I was
It
so
was
I was
gross,
so
but
happy. I was so happy
Mhm.
watching her eat her
Mhm.
husband's fucking shin or whatever the fuck it
Yeah.
was.
Who knows what it was? It was some body part.
ew.
But yeah. No, it was wonderful getting to watch that or read that. I feel like I watched it in my head. But anyway, but yeah. And then Bass is like acting like he's all tough when Bernadette's in the room and he's like, "Yeah, you eat that." But really he's like dying on the inside because he just wants to go vomit in a hole somewhere.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving on. Tobias, we love you. We'll always love you. We'll see you
Yeah.
again in the future.
When he
But
died,
I was not well. I was not well.
Oh, I was like, wait, did I miss something? Yeah, he died.
but thank God, because then he can like live
That was
freely.
the smartest thing he ever
Mhm.
could have done.
Oh yeah. But for a
Him,
moment there, I was scared shitless.
Yeah.
him, when Kate gets out of jail and he's in a mustache and a hat and sunglasses.
It's like, oh yeah, that's a real good disguise, Tobias. I mean, people have to know he's alive. Like they just like realize that he's not.
They probably
Like,
just like.
I think by the
let
time
it.
he realized that he was alive, he wasn't hurting anybody anymore, and like
It
no one
wasn't
was
worth
dying,
this
so
constant search cruise. Like fuck.
yeah,
Just
like
let the man live.
If he
just
got
let him
out of that
be.
mental institution, got out of the States,
could
went to
do it
Russia, went to
again.
Scotland, went to England, you're
Mhm.
not finding him. I'm sorry, you're
No.
just not.
No,
Mm-mm.
he could do it again.
Yeah.
So like, there's no point. But no, yeah, his disguises. Like, what is with the
I know.
mustache and the hat? Like, you're not. I'm just
No.
imagining in there the mustache, the sort of the hat. He's just like this big burly man is just standing there, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, you're not Tobias Mitchell. Like
I know.
outside of a fucking like you would think that you just wouldn't come when your son got out of jail. Maybe just wait at the house. But it's Tobias.
But he's like,
And
fuck, my
no
son's
one's gonna
getting out of
stop
jail,
him.
I'm gonna be there. I'm going. Man. I'm coming with my hat, my mustache, and my sunglasses.
Oh well, no, it's me. Barry's probably like, you fucking moron, they're gonna know. No, they won't. Shut the fuck up.
God.
Bass is probably like, that's a great father. And he's probably like, don't fucking call me that. And I don't care.
I
Don't.
will say,
No.
I felt bad for Arya because not only did she lose Jason, but she also thought she lost Bias, and she was just like
Oh my,
Yeah.
yeah.
a fucking
Yes.
And then
disaster.
she's like mid, like kind of losing her son. She doesn't really know what's gonna
Yeah,
happen with him. Her daughter's not in sights when this war is going on. Like, yeah,
yeah. So I did feel for her
yeah,
there.
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
And then there's Bias, just living his life.
It's
But
like I had to make it look like I was dead.
yeah,
I'm sorry. Did I worry you guys?
Sorry, I
No.
should have called and been like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
but it's fine.
But like the fact that he didn't think to tell Arya he's okay, yeah, fucked up, but also growth.
Shows growth. You
Yes,
know?
like
It's like, good job,
100%.
Tobias. I mean, you probably should have called somebody, but good job for
A
that
heads
not
up would have
being.
been nice. Like, Barry, you knew he was alive, you asshole. Fuck you.
I think Barry was just hoping that everyone would keep thinking Tobias was dead and
So he
that
wouldn't
Tobias would
so
never
he
come
could
back.
so Barry could kill him.
Yeah,
Kill him off and
probably.
no one would know. But
Okay,
yes,
let's get
and
on to Cade and Stacy.
just talk about
Yeah.
them as a whole. The emotions that these two make me feel are a mix of
Okay.
everything we've said from everybody else.
Okay,
Like,
you can tell me I'm completely wrong. Did they have growth or did they just get out of a shitty situation?
they did have some growth. I would say, or
I
I would
think
say
there's growth
Stacy.
to come.
I would say Stacy had more growth than Kate did. You know, like she finally started fighting for herself when it came to Chris. She wasn't like, letting him just completely run her life anymore. And, was standing up for herself and was trying to like fight for Cade. I feel like their relationship was pretty good before though, and the only thing that they really needed to do back then was get rid of Chris and tell Luciella. Like it wasn't like their relationship needed a lot of growth.
Yeah.
Like not like the baseline of it where like
Yeah.
they started when nothing else was involved. And they were both like inherently good people. If anything needed to happen, it was just like I don't think that like personality wise, other than Stacy learning to fight for herself and Cade maybe realizing that he should talk sometimes and listen to what others have to say instead of jumping to like, what he thinks is the most obvious answer. I think other than those two things, there wasn't a lot of growth that either of them truly needed, other than getting out of the shitty situations they were in. Because I don't think there was a lot other than that really wrong with their
Yeah.
personalities or anything they needed to work on.
Mm.
So there wasn't like, it's not like Tobias where there's this massive growth. But I think that's also because when you think back to their flashbacks, it didn't feel like they had a lot to work on other than the small things like Stacy learning to fight for herself when it comes to Chris and Cade, learning to listen and not always, just going with
Hmm.
whatever the most obvious answer is.
Yeah.
And they both did learn to do that, but then it became a more of a, dealing with the Bernadette situation and everything. But I
Hmm.
think other than that, there wasn't a lot of growth that they needed.
But I think from
You
what
know,
like they went through, they like as they become older and parents,
they grew. It
that's where
definitely
you'll
changed
see
them. Yeah, like
the
neither of them
growth.
are the same people that they used to be.
Yeah.
And I think it's more subtle growth. I feel like it wasn't anything.
Hmm.
It didn't feel big because there wasn't like any like inherent huge things that they had to work on, other than standing up for themselves and being a better listener.
Yeah.
So like it wasn't like huge things. It's not like with Tobias where it's like, you know, literal crazy town to okay, he can function in society. Like,
Yeah.
that's a huge change. Kate and Stacey didn't need that. They needed to work through what they were going through. Like obviously they had huge hurdles they had to get over, but they weren't necessarily personality hurdles. They
Mm-hmm.
were more outside circumstances. Even
Yeah.
with Cade's episodes, they were caused by outside circumstances. So it was, they didn't have a lot themselves to necessarily work on. They more had to deal with everything going on
They
outside of
both
them.
had shitty people holding them back and coming in the way of what they could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think that was the biggest thing they had to do. They didn't have, and I don't think that honestly she could have written it differently either to give them more growth because they're dealing with this so much. How would they even have time to work on another thing? Like, I don't, like
Hmm.
they just gradually became different people through going through what they went
And
through.
time. And
And
time
time.
Hmm.
too,
And
right?
time
Like
does that too, too.
they were a little naive when they first got together. They were
Which is normal for the
normal,
age they were,
19,
and it was
18,
their first
19.
relationship. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, just like they just grew up. They didn't
Yeah.
necessarily have growth, they just grew up.
Yeah.
And I don't think they needed, like, I'm happy with where they
Yes.
landed.
Yeah.
Very happy with where it ended up. It wasn't one of those ones where I didn't feel like there was a whole lot of growth and I'm not necessarily happy with where they turned out. I'm very happy with not only like where Kate and Stacey are in the future, but like, like who they are by the end of it.
Also,
Hmm.
there's sometimes in books, example, God of Malice, where I am worried for the female main character, and sometimes I'm like, she will like get walked all over or wouldn't be able to handle this type of person. I'm not worried about Stacey one bit because she puts
No.
Tobias Mitchell in his fucking place at all times.
Yeah.
If she can put Tobias in his place, she can definitely deal with his son. Like,
Because like
and I mean, we
they're
saw her deal with
so
Cade.
well, yeah,
He would turn her down when she's trying to say something. She goes, "No, you know what? No, fuck you. Like, if you don't want to listen to me, then you don't deserve to hear it. Like, I'm not
yeah.
gonna like beg for your attention."
But I think in their relationship at the beginning, yes, everything seemed very happy. There was no hardships, but it didn't seem like it was that way because she didn't stand up for herself, including Chris, include like if in
Hmm.
anything. Like if she was standing up for herself, she'd look Lucille in the face and be like, "I'm fucking your brother. Goodbye." Like,
Yeah,
you
and
know?
she definitely gets there by the end of it. And you're
Yes,
like, and that's
exactly.
probably her biggest growth is learning to, stand her
Stand up for
ground.
what she wants.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah.
Obviously, like still be respectful,
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
like stand up for yourself. Because she
Yeah.
never did with her dad. She didn't do like when she told him about Chris, he just said no and that was it.
Yeah.
Like she didn't like keep trying. She just was meek a little bit prior to.
Hmm. Yeah. Which, yeah, that circumstance, you could see it. But you always knew she had it in her to stand up.
Yes.
Because when it came
Hmm.
to her and Cade, she was never quiet. She was never meek when it had something to do with Cade.
Yeah.
Um, she was always that way when it came to him, which is funny because it's usually the opposite when it comes to these books. Usually
Mhm.
they may be a little stronger on the outside compared to
But
being
I
more
think
meek when they're with the guy. But
Cade makes her stronger and
mhm.
Cade makes her better. And
If
Cade
anything,
allows
Cade,
her the
yeah,
space and the
exactly,
comfortability to be like, no, fuck you.
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. She was never scared to like be like fully herself when it came to Cade.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, I think that helped back then, but it like definitely I think it like planted a seed in her that eventually like she was able to fight back on her own
Yeah.
and take back her life. Um Stacey has put through so much and I'm just glad she finally got her happy ending even if
I'm
it
so
took until the
sorry.
fifth epilogue, but I'm
If I
glad
was
we got to her.
Stacy, I would have offed myself in book one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm not that strong.
That girl
Yeah.
went through a lot of
She is
shit.
probably one of the strongest female main characters I know.
Yeah.
She's up there for sure.
Yeah.
She may not have been like the most murderous, she wasn't murdering a shit ton of people or anything, but strength wise,
Hmm.
Like
She's
mental
up there for
fortitude
sure.
is crazy.
Yeah. Um, and Cade, this book just like he broke my heart. Like
Cade
my heart
regressed, but
was
only because of drugs and not
yeah,
going to
he
therapy.
yeah, by the end you can see like okay, no, like everything that like
Yeah.
he did learn is still with him, but um you had to see his downfall first and Stacy kind of had her downfall in Voracious,
Yeah.
you know? And Cade Cade was kind of just always on a slippery slope the whole time, but he was kind of like in a plateaued area. Like it was kind of just stagnant. It wasn't really changing. Restitution is where we really got his downfall, so that was the most painful thing of this book was seeing Cade spiral, like his episodes and not knowing. And then I think the worst part of his spiral, I mean, like, other than the fact of not knowing who anyone is and, like, sitting in the corner of the bedroom, rocking back and forth, that made me, like, sob. But the fact that he was so out of it that he took his mask off and risked his entire future. Like, when he did that, my heart sunk. Like,
I was like
Hmm.
completely
screaming, "Don't do it.
sunk.
Stop. What are you doing? What the fuck are you doing?" I'm with
I
everyone
was
being
so
like,
scared.
"What the fuck?"
And, like, literally, when he fully took it off and spoke to the camera, I'm like, my heart just sunk. And I'm like, how? How are they
Yeah.
going to have a happy ending? Because it's not like she writes where some dark romance authors write and it's like, well, this would never happen. Like, you would be caught. Like, we know she doesn't. She writes realistically. So you're like, how is this
I
gonna
thought it
end?
was going to be another Tobias. Like, I was
I
like, great, he's going to go to jail. She's going to, like, I was honestly sad and mad.
I didn't know how it was gonna end. I was like, how can we possibly, like,
Yeah.
how do we end this? Because I knew it was a happily ever after. But I'm like, but how? How is it happy? Like, what about this is saying happy? And then when he's arrested, I just couldn't. Like, I was so sad. And the fact that that's the last page before the epilogues, I was just like, how is
Like,
that
I
gonna
was so
go?
mad. I was, ugh.
I was like, I don't understand. Like, why did I look confused? He was arrested just before the epilogue started.
But he wasn't arrested when he took his mask off.
No, but everything led to him being arrested.
Oh
Had to
yeah,
do with the
and but you
mask.
had so much
Yeah.
faith in the well, no, not necessarily the mask. So you had so much faith in the police officers and
Mm-hmm.
You
like
thought it was all going to be okay for a
and he
minute.
was getting a pardon because of all of this and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then they went back on their word.
Yeah. They changed their mind. They went back for him. And like everybody protested and thank God because that's what eventually gets him out and he only goes to jail for 5 years. But
Yeah.
5 years that he never should have had to go for. Like,
Hmm.
not really. Like, yes, these books are written realistically, but like, come on. Like, he doesn't need another thing. Like, they don't need another thing in their way. And I was just like, when he was arrested, I actually like was just so like distraught. Like I was like just done. I was so
I think it was good
over
for
it.
them.
I mean, yeah, maybe. And it
I
definitely
think
like gave
it
Kate
gave
time, but it
them
wasn't good for me.
no.
I didn't like it.
I think it gave them the much needed space to process everything that happened and how
Hmm.
to move forward. And like still obviously they talked and saw each other. Like that's like
Yeah.
Hmm.
whatever. But it gave them space apart from each other. If could you imagine if Kay didn't go to jail and he was having a bad day and he like looked at Stacy and was like, "This is all your fucking fault." Like, no, he
Yeah.
needed
So
to
much could have
process
went
it.
wrong.
Exactly. He needed to process it on his own. I'm sure he was in a good enough jail because they had a nice room that they had conjugal visits in.
Hmm.
Like, he probably got therapy and shit like that. Like, made
Hmm.
sure that everything was fine and stuff like that. And, like, Stacy went to therapy and honestly, as much as it fucking sucked, they really needed it.
Yeah, it
Hmm.
just sucked. I hated reading it. I hated it being, oh, here's another thing, like, in their way. It was just like, and I
Yeah.
know, like, logically it really wasn't in their way. They didn't need it, but it just was like, they've been through so freaking much. And just like, you're
Yeah.
like, so, like, why? Why them? Like, why did any of this have to happen? And it's just one of those things where, I don't know, that just, the whole Kate of it all, like, everything he went through, just, like, broke my heart, like, the whole time. Like, I just, every time you read something in Kate's POV, I was just like, why? Why? Especially when you're like, when you really think about it and you realize every single flashback was Cade trying to think of a happier memory while he was going through whatever, everything he was going through.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I'm dissociating.
Yeah. And so,
Yeah.
like, when you think about it that way, it's like, we only get to know the happy because of the shit he's going through. Like, I'd rather not have it and have him just be fine. Like, it was just, it was a lot. It was a lot. But it is probably, I know for sure it's in my top five. I can't rank within my top five other than that,
Mm-mm.
though. They kind of get all jumbled in there. But it's in my top five, like, series for sure. Like, I love this universe so much. Out of the universe, these are my favorite.
Yeah.
I think that they'll remain my favorite, but maybe base might change my mind. I don't know.
I have a
Yeah.
sneaking suspicion the Reznikovs is going to be really fucking good.
Oh, for sure, they're all really fucking good. But I think Kate and Stacey. I don't think they'll be able to take me away from Kate and Stacey.
I
I don't
think
know.
Kate and Stacy are the pillars of this universe.
Oh, for
Oh
sure.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I don't think
Yeah.
it's like everything like in like the Gian Wright universe. Like Black Hollows is the pillar. Like
everything goes back to
yeah,
the Rebels and Elle. Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
everything essentially goes back to Kate and Stacey. Even the end, like of Little Liar, Little Stranger, like that
It's
duology.
Kate and
Like
Stacey.
yeah,
So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, yeah, no. But can you say that everything goes back to Kate and Stacey, or can you say everything goes back to Arya and Tobias?
I mean, it did start
I
with them.
mean,
Because they're also in that, but like, it's just
Just their
a
family is
thought.
just,
Yeah. Tobias and Kate are the pillar. Tobias, Kate, and Base are the pillars of these books.
no, they are.
That's where, yeah. So I don't know. I'm really excited for the future ones. I'm really sad that we only have four left.
um,
Um.
did we talk about Archie and Bernadette and how they got,
Oh, I hate them. They're dead. They're dead to me. I don't even like
Well, we
thinking about
talked
them.
about how
We talked
they
about
fed
being
Archie to
fed.
Bernadette and blowing the fuck up out of Archie.
yeah. Yeah.
Peace, goodbye, good
See
riddance.
you later.
Chris dying because and Cade fucking
Yeah,
yeah.
we kind of just talked about them in passing. They don't deserve another moment of
Yeah,
my
no.
brain
I
space.
can't stand
Um,
that bitch. She's
no,
I
hate
was
her.
waiting for her
Hate.
death the whole time.
yes.
Yeah,
Just waiting for it. Like, ugh.
yeah,
Yeah.
no.
But
So
yeah.
glad they're dead. Um,
But yeah.
but yeah, that's it, guys. Favorite parts or maybe favorite characters moment or
Favorite part. Okay. Well, I have a couple. Favorite part obviously was the satisfaction of Bernadette eating her husband.
that was
Yeah.
pretty great.
Obviously. Um as as sad as the situation around it, Base saying, "Do you think Tobias would think it's weird that I've made both his offspring come?" And it's just like I honestly he was just doing it just to get
He's
Kate out of his
just yeah,
head.
yeah.
And then obviously how the book ends with them and their kids, and I think Jason's kid was there too.
I'm pretty sure by the end he's involved in their
Yeah,
lives, but we're not really
and
sure when he
how
joined. Yeah.
they all watched The Greatest Showman together at the very end.
That's right.
We have to watch The Greatest Showman together.
Yeah.
You've never seen it.
I
Mm-mm.
can't
You don't
believe
even know what
it's
they're
so good.
talking about. It's amazing. Yeah, I think mine was the ending. Like finally everybody's like happy and together. But I think my other one was like kind of like what you said with Base, like there like besides like the sadness surrounding everything was when um Tobias and Stacy were like out putting like the cameras up like around and they were kind of just like talking about everything going on and it was just like nice because it was kind of like a father-daughter moment and I think it was like the first time in a while Stacy had like felt like real like relief like someone like was like there for her. So I think that was my favorite part just like emotionally like I feel like it healed something inside of me
Mm-hmm.
reading it. Yeah.
And then Cade ran away right after that.
Yeah, because he's Cade. But
Yeah.
yeah. What about you?
Mine was definitely all the deaths. Yeah, so satisfying,
All of the
so
deaths.
worth it.
All of them?
All of
Not,
the deaths.
no, not all of them. Not all of them. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
All the evil
Archie,
deaths.
Bernadette,
Yes.
and
Um,
Cassie's and Chris's.
yes, and obviously the ending, because that was a lot to get through, but it was worth it.
Yeah. This is the greatest show. You really gotta watch that movie. I can't believe you don't know.
I will get on that.
So,
After I read all the books I have to fucking read.
Come over tomorrow. We'll watch it. We'll have a movie day.
yeah, we'll watch a movie. We'll watch.
Maybe. We'll see. I just don't. I hate sitting and watching a screen. It just feels wrong when I have so many things to do.
Well, that's
But
the good thing
we'll
about
see.
like that movie.
Fair.
You can get up and walk around. You just need to like somewhat experience it. As long as
Oh,
you
I'll
pay.
definitely watch it at least
Yeah.
once in my life.
But yeah, guys, that's it
Yeah.
for this episode. It's also it for Kate and Stacy. We'll see appearances of them in the next episode at the very end. But other than that, we're saying goodbye to them. And it makes me sad because I love them. I love them so much. But I'm glad that they're just happy now and I get to think about them happy and I don't get to think about anything else.
Yeah.
Although when we move on to the next books, I do have to think about that entire time Kate's in jail. But it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Everything's okay. But anyway, that's it. We'll see you next week. We're doing Little Stranger and Little Liar in one episode because Little Stranger is so short.
Yeah.
So we're just mixing them. But we'll see you guys next week.
Bye, guys.
Guys.
What happened?
I
You
don't
like
know.
Did it
you have-
glitch?
Yeah,
I
it
I
totally
started way
did.
too early and you guys didn't. It must have glitched. It's
No, we
fine.
started at the exact same
The
time.
same time, and then you just like
Not on my
Stopped.
end.
see?
I
I
said
don't
it and you
It's all over the
understand.
place.
I don't
Yeah, no.
understand.